Joining me now is Annie Cyrus and our reporter on the ground in Israel, Aaron Lavarco. By now, most of you know that the Druze, and this is a group of people in both Israel and in Syria that are being slaughtered, but also Christians being slaughtered by the military forces of the president of Syria, who has shaken the hand of President Trump. And I guess some of these guys were taken off the terrorist list. This is not going well. And apparently the Trump administration wants Israel to back off, but they're not going to. Here's the video footage from earlier today, and we'll get a report and an update on where this is going. Because, again, Syria and Al-Qaeda and ISIS are a threat to America. And many are warning that Al-Qaeda, which is some of the same elements now in Syria, have a major terrorist attack planned for America, bigger than 9/11. But here's what happened in Syria today as Damascus was hit by Israel. This is the equivalent of their Pentagon. In Damascus.
إذا استهدافهم نهاية الأركان بشكل كامل.
قصف ثاني.
دمروه. منتصر سقط على الهواء.
قصف هيئة الأركان بغارتين. نعم.
Well, look at that reporter standing there watching it with his helmet on and his flap jacket. And apparently this is going to not go unanswered. The question, I guess, are many questions. Why would the Trump administration want Israel to hold back? We also have video footage tonight. Can I go to that, Logan? Is that all right? We have video footage tonight. Sadly, it's been scrambled, so it's not going to be too graphic. But we do have video footage tonight of doctors, nurses slaughtered in a hospital in Syria. We are told some of these are also Christians, and the Christians in the hospital were hiding as the ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Syrian military forces of Jilani went through and slaughtered these nurses and doctors and hunting patients. We are hearing that a church in Syria has been burned. Again, Christians are also being targeted, along with the Druze. Joining me now is Annie Cyrus and our reporter on the ground in Israel, Aaron Lavarco. Aaron, you told us on radio today, Druze, this would be a group of people that are not Muslims. Tell our listening friends tonight and viewing friends tonight exactly who are the Druze. D-R-U-Z. Is that how you'd spell that?
D-R-U-Z-E or D-R-U-S-E, correct. Brandon, in the 12th century, a Muslim man called Druze, he broke away from mainstream Islam and he started his own movement. It lasted about 26 years. People were free to join in. And then after 24, 26 years, something like that, they closed it off. And since then, they are an inbred religion. They are an ethnic religious group. There's about 3.5 million of them living mainly in Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. They're a mixture of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They believe in all the major prophets, including Abraham, Moses, David, Jesus, Muhammad. Their number one prophet is Jethro. Jethro, according to the biblical text, he was the priest of Midian. And they claim that they are descendants of the Midianites, which is very interesting because an Islamic theology called the 12th Imam, they believe that he is going to come from the Druze themselves. Actually, they wear baggy pants because there's the belief that this 12th Imam, who in the 12th century mysteriously disappeared, He's going to come back, but he's going to be born through a human, maybe even through a man. And that's why they wear baggy pants, in case he's born, he doesn't want to be dropped on his head. So they catch them with their baggy pants. This is genuinely what they believe. We have about 80,000 Druze living in Israel. They're very loyal to wherever they live. They serve in our communities. They serve in our military. We've even had generals that come from the Druze communities. So we are very close with them. They are very, let's say, apolitical. They don't get too involved with politics, probably because their communities aren't that strong as far as numbers. But they are loyal, and we believe they are worthy to be looked after, to be defended. And that's why we are going into Syria and we are defending the Druze living there, some of which are relatives of the Druze that are living in Israel.
Okay, Annie, we also have reports tonight, and we showed it on TV today. This is a Druze gentleman, a leader, and here is Giuliani's group, the Syrians, the ISIS, Al-Qaeda guys, giving him a dry shave. They're doing this. They're humiliating a lot of these guys. And then I guess they assassinated this man after this. But they're also killing Christians, hunting Christians. Annie, what do you make of this tonight and this army, this leader, who I think by now Israel should go out and attack and eliminate him? But what is this? What do you make of all this and the Trump administration shaking hands with him, President Trump, trying to make peace with him? What do you, and then why are we getting reports from people like Sarah Adams who's saying, why is the U.S. Secretary of State upset that someone targeted an Al-Qaeda commander? He was literally on our target deck just 6 months ago. This kind of unhinged Al-Qaeda appeasement isn't just reckless. It's going to get lots of Americans killed. So what do you make of how we got here? And what is the Trump administration, you think, thinking right now? And what are they to do? And how? And who is Giuliani listening to, do you believe? Who's telling him to do this? I know there's a lot of questions. The floor is yours.
Sure. Okay, let me just quickly make one correction. I know the reports, the tweets are saying it. However, yes, they did insult Sheikh Shaheen, clean shave, which is very bad in the culture of Druzes. Their beard and their mustache is a symbol of honor, wisdom, and a status. So when but they did not kill him afterwards because of old age.
They didn't.
They didn't. He did die. However, after they left his house from the stress and the dishonor and all of that, his heart gave up. His granddaughter. So I would say they killed him then. Yes, that's the thing. His granddaughter put out a Facebook post saying his blood is on your hands because you knew what you were doing in this house when you were shaving his face and calling him the names they are calling him, mocking him. So yes, they were the cause. I just want to be very accurate that it's not like they slit his throat or hanged him, but their actions knowingly and his old age and all that caused, unfortunately, his death. I actually... The main thing I've been reporting on this is on our side, American side. I'm like, isn't it amazing that the first thing Trump administration wants to do, ceasefire, stop the war, we need peace there. First of all, we cannot afford to possibly 1 in a million lose the nomination of that peace prize. We can't afford that because President Trump needs to go home with that next year. But I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I personally will say, you can't see my face, but with a very straight face, that I've been warning President Trump and his administration, when you go and legitimize people like HTS and the new transitional leader of Syria, and you just lift sanctions and give him that much power, you got to be careful. This is the result of dancing with the devil. Now, when Marco Rubio answers the question of, we're very worried and we want this war to end immediately, it is, to me, It is a slap in the face of all non-Muslims who have been and continue to be slaughtered and killed and raped and tortured in Syria under the hands of this terrorist group. And I don't care if we remove them from our terrorist list. They are a terrorist group. They are a jihadist group, and they have years of resume proving it. So when we're more concerned about appeasing them than care about all the slaughters they have done, well, that just explains where our administration stands. Now, I want to make one thing very clear for any, I don't know who's reading what. This is kind of ongoing. I really do pray that Israel doesn't stop and lead this back into an Iran-Israel war, by the way. So I want to put this out there. I have stated on my Facebook that this is where I was waiting for the next bomb to drop. This today will lead back into breaking the ceasefire with Iran, because Iran has already announced they're going to protect the Syrian government with everything they've got. So stand by, as Iran is going to get involved. However, the original attack had nothing to do with the Al-Qaeda group. It had nothing to do with the transitional government, not even anything to do with going in to defend the Druzes today. It was targeting Iran's proxies in Syria. That's where the attack started. Now it has expanded to more good points, but I just want to mention for anyone who's saying Israel is now going after Syrian people, Israel is not after Syrian people. The original initiation of this attack was towards Iran's proxies in Syria, who were warned for more than 7 days to back away, and they didn't. So again, this is not an attack. This is a retaliation by Israeli military.
Now but now the Israeli military is going after the Syrian army that's killing the Druze and the Christians, right?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing with Iran and Israel war. The first day, Israel was retaliating, just attacking the IRGC members. But later on, during the 12 days, it expanded to whomever got involved, whomever needed protection, and vice versa. This is the same scenario. The original the attack, the retaliation was toward the proxies. But then when the current administration in Syria decide to send their armies to get involved, of course Israel is going to attack them back. Even Netanyahu earlier today asked the Druzes in Israel not to cross border into Syria. I think Aaron can confirm what I'm saying. It was asked of Druzes.
Well, actually, I have video footage. I have video footage of the Druze running from Israel into Syria.
Into Syria, yes.
To go in to protect their community.
Exactly. But my point is, Netanyahu, that is when they have to protect Druzes, because even though it was asked of the Israeli Druzes to stand down, they didn't. I don't blame them. They saw an opportunity. But now Israeli military is going to continue defending, technically, partially, its citizens who are in Syria. Yeah. But we need to be very careful when we are bringing reasons of what is happening today. We need to be very clear. It has started as a retaliation that was a warning of over 7 days by IDF telling the proxies of Iran in Syria to back down. They didn't. So Israel retaliated. Let's make sure that stays very crystal clear for the remaining days of this conflict.
Okay, so they retaliated, but the military in Syria going after the Druze and the Christians, who was telling them to do that, Annie?
Their leader.
Right, but who was telling him to have them do that?
The Quran and Muhammad?
You don't think, you think it was, I guess what I'm asking is, Aaron and I are on the radio today, we're saying, who was whispering in his ear, telling him to do this? Is he just following the ideology of ISIS and Al-Qaeda?
Yeah, that's the thing. The reason he had a quote-unquote fallout, not technically fallout, but separated and created his own group and became his own boss, was because he is a devout believer in conquering and following Muhammad's footsteps. So yes, he's doing what ISIS, Al-Qaeda, IRGC, Taliban, and all of them do, but not because he has someone telling him to do it, except his faith in Islamic conquer.
But Annie, can
But
I
you don't
ask?
think there's some other country behind him telling him to do this, Annie?
No, I believe there are other countries telling him we got your back, but not ordering
How
the
about
action.
like Turkey? Like Turkey?
Absolutely. Turkey, Iran. Again, today, Iran, the first thing Iran said was, if Israel doesn't stop immediately, we're going to defend the Syrian government, not Syrian people, not Druzes, not Syria, the Syrian government. We will protect the Syrian government with everything we've got. And we're going to give Israel a harsher answer than we did when Israel attacked Iran. So, of course, Iran is part of it. Turkey is part of it. If you ask me, probably Lebanon is playing a role, not the government. The proxies are playing a role.
Jump in here, Aaron, please.
No, that makes total sense what Ani is saying. And I go back to what I was saying before, Brannon. Bibi and Donald Trump's meetings in Washington last week, yes, they were for trying to push forward the Abraham Peace Accords, but I've been hearing reports that they were also talking about planning for the next round of potential fighting with Iran, with their proxies. But there's, like I said before, I am actually a bit surprised that Giuliani has done this. He's not stupid. He overthrew the Assad regime. He timed it perfectly. It went relatively smooth. Okay, that's done. But he knows what's at stake. The Abraham Peace Accords he's about to sign, that's going to bring in billions of dollars to him and his movement. For him to go after the Druze, he knows very, very well that Israel has the Druze backs. So for him to do it, he's not stupid. And so I think there's some strategy behind it. And I tend to lean on what Ani's saying. It's got to be not just nationalistic, but jihadist motivated. Like I was saying before, there are Muslims who are nationalistic, like the Abraham Peace Accord nations. They want their nations to be built up. They're nationalistic. But there are also Muslim jihadists. And Giuliani is showing his cards. He's showing his true nature. And his true nature is like Hamas. And they're murdering thee and slaughtering and raping. This is the Druze October the 7th. And I'm so proud that our government and our military, whatever it's going to cost us, and it is going to cost us, whatever it's costing us, we are helping our Druze brothers. And I'm ashamed of these silent voices who are not condemning Syria, who are not condemning HTS and Giuliani. Shame on them. These same people that condemn Israel, they're not condemning HTS.
We're now getting reports that Israeli Minister Ben Gvir is calling for the assassination of the Syrian president. There you go. Annie?
Well, Aaron, let's look at it this way. Giuliani, I agree with you. Giuliani is a smart. However, I will say, first things first, he did not topple Assad. As always, he had the support. You don't go topple Assad. Damascus fell, and 3 other provinces fell before his men even got to those provinces.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So Giuliani didn't do this by himself. It was another coup d'etat. And I can promise you, in 2 years, we're going to see the handprint and footprint of Western countries on it, all over it, because they just want to get rid of Assad. Now, he is very smart. However, Islamic Republic of Iran, the biggest funder of all of these people, even though front of cameras, Giuliani and Khamenei don't like each other, supposedly, but starting second day of war of Iran-Israel, Giuliani came out and said, hey, it's time for Islamic Republic of Iran to come to the table and start talking to us because we can be helpful. Now, if they did sit back on that desk, if they did talk to each other, now Iran is ready to break ceasefire, but they don't want to do it because technically Trump said any party that breaks the ceasefire, we're going to be on the side of the other person. They can use Giuliani and today, as I said earlier, to re-engage in war with Israel without being in war in Israel, because that's what Iran's done. In last 30 years, they have fought Israel through their proxies, and Giuliani could be a new proxy for Iran. How did they turn Hamas to their proxy? With money. Giuliani, yes, all the sanctions were lifted and Saudi Arabia paid all the debt of Syria, but Giuliani doesn't have national money right now to run. All it takes is for Iran to say, here, we're going to fund you. Now we need you to go and start doing this. If they have the backing of Iran, Turkey, Hezbollah, and Hamas, Giuliani is not afraid to go up against Israel.
Yeah, and you know what?
Okay, so when I asked earlier who was telling Giuliani to do this, and that's what Aaron and I were talking about on radio today, you just kind of answered the question, Annie. You think Giuliani is now taking the orders of Iran?
No, Giuliani is taking money of Iran. I want to be very clear. They are not manipulating Giuliani. I want to emphasize on what Aaron said. Giuliani is a jihadist. He is taking Iran's money and he's going to count on Iran and IRGC to back him when today happens. But his arm wasn't twisted. He wasn't forced to become this irrational jihadi. He was born this jihadi. He was trained and raised and groomed as a child to be this jihadi. That's why I keep saying, yes, he is cooperating with Iran, but this is not something he's going against his wishes or will or commitment to Islam.
Right, but he is being paid now. He's now being paid for this.
Yes, he's funded. Yes. Or even armed.
So you think
Iran
this is going to cause...
arm him.
Okay, so you believe that this is going to cause the ceasefire between Israel and Iran to break down. How do you see that happening, Annie, before I go to Aaron?
Well, here's how I see it. Iran, if Israel doesn't stop, which I hope and pray they don't, Iran's going to start backing Syrian army against Druzes. That's going to give Israel enough grounds to attack Iran again. And that's how this is going to go on.
And then President Trump is going to have to come out against Israel? Because you just said whoever breaks the ceasefire, he's going to be against that person. So is President Trump going to be forced to condemn Israel?
Well, President Trump technically has done that for almost a month and a half now. He's not going to be forced. He already, I'm sorry to be harsh, but he already picked his side. The moment he shook Giuliani's hand, the moment he lifted sanctions on Giuliani, the moment he went for another bad, terrible deal with Hamas, the moment he went to create ceasefire between Iran and Israel. Those were all siding against Israel anyways. But yes, I think, again, Trump administration is going to try to patch things up, benefiting Iran and the mullahs and their proxies. And if Israel refuses to do it, I mean, we all witnessed what President Trump said on camera, dropping F-bomb about Netanyahu and Israel. What worse could have?
So you're the whole reason for doing this, Annie, you believe is he wants to go down as a man of peace, right?
He wants to go to his retirement in Qatar with Peace Prize on his shelf. I do apologize if I'm very blunt today, but it's just
that's all right. That's why we love you.
Thank you, but it is so embarrassing when I see what Marco Rubio says or what's coming out of White House. They're so worried about protecting a jihadi. It's just exhausting to be an American today.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't we have a jihadi sitting on the Faith Council now who spent 20 years in prison?
2 of them. We don't have 1, we have 2, but yes, 1 of them served prison time. Yes, and I do apologize for doing this, but it's not just those 2. I finished a draft of Substack coming out tomorrow, and it is a free Substack, so just subscribe, check. Brandon, based on my research, the piece that's coming out tomorrow, it's going to show proof. And I always put the receipt. 18 cities in America have been conquered, Brandon. 18 cities in America have been officially conquered by Islam. And now we're worried about defending and protecting another regime? Gilani is not a transitional government. Gilani is officially the government of Syria. I don't care how they sugarcoat it and wrap it in the word of transitional. How long does a transition take?
How does this fit? How does this fit in, Annie, with Sarah Adams and others warning about a massive attack on America, bigger than 9/11, possibly coming, they say, in 2025 by Al-Qaeda and ISIS, particularly Al-Qaeda, and their invisible bombs with the new technology that's very hard to pick up on airport scanners. How does all of this, because Gilani in Syria is ISIS, is Al-Qaeda. We actually have a video. We showed it today on TV this afternoon. We actually have a video of a Syrian guy wearing his uniform with the ISIS logo on it. So there it is. So when I come back, Annie, I want to ask you, how does all this with Al-Qaeda, or whatever group you want to call them, in Syria, lay the foundation for an attack inside America? liveuptofreedom.substack.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Aaron Lavarco, lighttotheNationsMinistry.com. We'll be right back with more. We're brought to you by you. Many ways you can do it. WorldviewTube.com/sponsors gives all the great ways to keep this free program going. WorldviewTube.com/sponsors. We'll be right back.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Go to worldviewhealthcare.com. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. worldviewhealthcare.com. That's worldviewhealthcare.com.
The emergency kit available at worldviewhealthcare.com. Make sure you don't have to go to urgent care. I got pneumonia. I didn't have to go. I took this last year. Stayed at home, went to bed.
Introducing the Sentry Wellness System, the ultimate under-sink water treatment solution designed with you in mind. Say goodbye to harmful toxins and hello to water enriched with essential nutrients like calcium and magnesium. Enjoy the benefits of increased pH for on-demand alkalinity. All from a zero-waste system that fits seamlessly into your home. Installation is a breeze, taking just 15 minutes, so you can have clean, healthy, great-tasting water straight from your tap. Perfect for apartments, homes, rentals, and even RVs. Elevate your hydration and well-being with the Sentry Wellness System because you deserve the best in every drop.
Sentry H2O. Tap into wellness.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. WorldviewTube.com. Hey, remember, you can get a stack of these business cards absolutely free, a stack of 20 of them. Just go to WorldviewTube.com. No, sorry, WorldviewStore.com. WorldviewStore.com, and you can get a stack of these absolutely free. WorldviewStore.com. Pass them out to your family and friends. Let them know about Worldview Tube, okay? We're not mouthpieces for any group, any government, any political party. We just present the truth here, folks. That's what we do. That's why we're growing, by the way. We're not trying to be on the right side of an issue so we get invited to all the right Christmas parties, okay? We're just here to present you with truth. We're here to praise people when they do great and say what is going on when we think they're not doing great. We're just putting out the truth here, folks, okay? WorldviewStore.com if you want to get a bunch of these to pass out. They're free. We appreciate it. Don't forget about our fall conference coming up October 3rd and 4th. That's a Friday night and a Saturday. October 3rd and 4th with a huge lineup. We only have 350 seats. It's our 22nd annual national conference. Full details at worldviewstore.com as well. Worldviewstore.com. Joining me now is Annie Cyrus and Aaron Lavarco. So before I go back to Aaron, Annie, how does this skirmish now, this war, Israel at war with Syria, the Syrian government, with their leader, Jilani, and that's being Al-Qaeda as well, how does this lay the foundation, if at all, for the terrorist attack that Sarah Adams and others are warning about that's coming to America by Al-Qaeda? Annie?
I would say right now, as I speak with you, it doesn't. Because if Trump continues appeasing them, they have no reason to attack us. So it all depends on Trump administration's reaction to everything that's going on in the Middle East. Not just today, but from day one until today. And I believe on one of the shows that I joined you previously a few months ago, I said I think that's actually one of the main reasons Trump is constantly giving keys to White House and access to government to these jihadists, because he wants to make sure they do not attack us here. What he doesn't understand is that's actually worse. But right now his mindset is, if I appease them, if I stay friendly with them, they won't attack here on our soil, so I can be the president with zero terrorist attack or jihadist attack. So it depends. If it continues, his administration continues the way they are right now, I don't think we're going to face an attack. But if we do the right thing, yes, and I know probably most Americans are like, well, great, let's continue. No, let's not do that. 18 cities in America are conquered by Islam is not something you want to continue. You want to stand up and do the right thing and use our intelligence and system and all the surveillance to catch the terrorists here in America before they actually deliver and do their mission.
So when I was asking many people, you included, Annie, last year and the year before that and the year before that, do we as a country have to worry that the Islamists have penetrated our country so tightly, or Iran has nuclear weapons on satellites going over the U.S. along with other countries that could do an EMP attack? I've asked over and over, are we being blackmailed? Are our leaders being blackmailed to not do certain things because they have been told, if you do, this will be the consequences? It sounds like to me that's what you're saying. I don't know if you want to call it blackmail, whatever you want to call it, but it sounds like blackmail to me. Annie?
It's absolutely blackmail, yes. Yes, it is absolutely blackmail. And it goes back to, we were supposed to not negotiate with terrorists, but it seems like that is what we exactly do. You were right to ask the question, and the answer is still yes. We are being blackmailed under every administration.
All right, Aaron, what do you make of what you're hearing Annie and I talk about? As an Israeli, what do you make of this?
Well, I really take to heart what Annie said about, Donald Trump, America being careful. They don't want an attack to come on America, so they have to play their cards right. I'm paraphrasing what Annie was saying. By the way, I just got a report from saying U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has just announced that after consultations with all parties involved in the fighting in Syria, there is an agreement to take specific steps that will end the fighting tonight. Doesn't say what those steps are, but there's an agreement with all parties to take specific steps to end the fighting. But one thing, as I've been listening, and I mentioned this earlier, Brandon, to you, when I was wondering, Jolani's not stupid. Either he is stupid, which I don't think so, or he is strategically planning this fight against the Druze. It could, I'm sure some of it is what Annie was saying because of his belief in the Quran and jihadism and all that. But, and I do agree with the financial help from Tehran and all of that, but I just still got that suspicion about Turkey. There's something like a dark shadow that hovers over Turkey. And just last week, there were a group of PKK soldiers that, and PKK soldiers are part of the Kurds who live in Syria, and about a third of the population of Syria are Kurds. And for the majority, they are enemies of Turkey, and they hold in the prisons many ISIS fighters. Well, just last week, a number of PKK soldiers surrendered to Turkey. And this is very important for Turkey. Turkey, they want Syria. They want Jerusalem. They've been calling out for Jerusalem for a long time. So I can't know for sure, but I just have a deep sense that Turkey are the dark horse waiting in the wings. Maybe they have a part in this where they want, and let's not forget the natural resources inside of Syria, the oil, the gas, that strip right across there. You know, for Turkey to sit back and watch Giuliani signing a peace accord with Israel, with America, that doesn't sit so well with them. So I just wonder, and all of this will be revealed soon, but let's see how this outplays.
All right. Here is audio coming from the Oval Office this afternoon with Marco Rubio and the president.
Yeah, it's complicated, obviously. These are historic, long-time rivalries between different groups in the southwest of Syria, Bedouins, the Druze community, and it led to an unfortunate situation and a misunderstanding, it looks like, between the Israeli side and the Syrian side. So we've been engaged with them all morning long and all night long with both sides, and we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track in helping Syria build a country and arriving at a situation there in the Middle East that's far more stable. So in the next few hours, we hope to see some real progress to end what you've been seeing over the last couple hours. Yeah.
Okay. Annie, how can we call this a misunderstanding?
Oh,
I was literally just thinking, misunderstanding? Can somebody inform
I think we just heard... I think we also just heard underneath Annie was Aaron just said, "Oh my gosh!"
And he used the word "this unfortunate incident." Unfortunate? It was slaughter. How can he use the word unfortunate? Sorry, Annie.
Let's remind everybody in part. While Annie's talking, while you're talking, Annie, I want to show some video footage. Okay, of what's been going on and the murder of innocent people and this guy, a Druze leader that was treated this way who died after this, the murder of doctors, nurses, hunting of Christians, the burning down of Christian churches. I'm sorry, Marco Rubio, I've praised you several times since you got in there, but that's bad. That was bad language to use. Misunderstanding, unfortunate. I mean, come on, Annie, go ahead.
Well, let's explain this misunderstanding. In last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, there were missiles shot towards Israel by a group known as Martyr Mohammed al-Deif Brigades. Don't worry about remembering the name. Who are they? They are the Syrian Palestinian resistance in Syria. And then last week, we had the IRFS start to fire missiles toward Israel again. Who are they? They are the newly, that I reported on about 7 months ago, newly Shia jihadi militia in Syria that was put together and trained by IRGC. Where's the misunderstanding exactly? And those were the first targets of this attack. The retaliation I was talking about, this was it. There is no misunderstanding. You got the Hamas root militia group, and you have the IRGC affiliated Shia militia group. There is no misunderstanding, unless we want to keep misunderstanding, because we keep misunderstanding.
We're now seeing the video footage. We're now seeing the video footage, and I was showing it scrambled, but now I've gotten ticked off, so I'm not showing it scrambled anymore. Okay?
Good.
I was showing it scrambled. Now I'm not. So I want everyone to see Marco Rubio's misunderstanding. Okay, I'm sorry, all these dead doctors and nurses and patients, it was just simply a misunderstanding. Okay? We did this on October 7th. We didn't show stuff scrambled.
Yeah,
because I'm not playing
Brandon,
those games.
By
Keep
the way,
showing that,
Brandon,
Logan.
Brandon,
Yep.
it's that soft talk, unfortunate, that's what's going to lead America to an October 7th, because that's what happened to us. We did not take these enemies of ours as serious as we should have. We thought that they were just rough guys in the neighborhood, and we let them play around, do some bad stuff in the neighborhood without doing anything. And that kind of talk, that very much concerns me. That's almost an appeasement, almost a compromise. You know, I'm shocked. Unfortunate misunderstanding. If it was his family that were doctors and nurses that got mutilated, would he be using unfortunate? I don't think so.
I think
no, I don't either. Annie, I had no idea.
No, I think he would.
Oh, you think he would?
He would. Let me tell you why he would. How many slaughter of Americans have happened in America in hands of ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, IRGC, Hamas, pro-Palestinians? When the narrative doesn't change, when the softness of tone stays where it's at, this is why I don't do the whole, let me give him another minute, let me give him another chance. Over and over, they have proven that no matter what happens to who, where, they're going to continue twisting the narrative and giving more lifeline to all of these jihadists.
But what shocks me with what you've said, which I agree with, but what shocks me is that if it was under the Biden administration, I could understand. But it's under the Trump administration. And it seems that they've been totally changing their attitude. They've been, toughening up a little bit and speaking the Middle East language. But this is not the Middle East language. This is the Biden administration language. That's what shocks me.
It used to shock me too, but then I realized that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brennan.
No, this David Pine was saying this is starting to feel like Biden 2.0. I know I got to do a hard rap with you, Annie, but look what Sarah Adams has written. ISKP's Rajab Salahuddin is alive. Tell our audience who that is.
Who? I'm sorry, can you repeat the name?
ISKP's, Rajab, R-A-G-A-B, and the last name is S-A-L-A-H-U-D-D-I-N. And she says America just bankrolled the enemy. To the U.S. government, as of today, Rajab is alive. That's the number 2 of the Islamic State. The Khorasan province, ISKP. And you just handed the Taliban nearly $90 million this week after a completely staged raid last week. You fell for a lie. Again, the Taliban ran a fake operation saying they took Rajab out, and you believed them without proof. Then you paid them for it. This what?
I'm sorry. We were under impression that he's dead.
That's what she's saying.
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry.
She's saying this wasn't a joint counterterrorism victory. It was theater. And now the terrorists are laughing at you, mocking how easy it is to game the system. Whoever in the intelligence community vouched for this payment should be fired on the spot. You're funding terrorists under the banner of counterterrorism and putting Americans in danger with this reckless policy. And to the American public, this is your money. Nearly $90 million more in taxpayer funds just went to the same Taliban that gave safe haven to Osama bin Laden and now harbors 4 of bin Laden's sons and both senior al-Qaeda and ISIS leaders. The U.S. government is throwing cash at terrorists who are using it to plot against us while telling you everything is under control. It's not. This is just incompetence. This isn't just incompetence. It's a national security disaster. We're being lied to, defrauded, and left exposed by those paid to protect us. That's Sarah Adams tonight. Annie, I know you need to respond and then wrap.
Yes, I honestly, I don't know. We're under impression he's dead because I knew he's alive. but that's, I guess, beside the point. Or I missed a memo from our government saying they took him out. I know he went under sanctions, personal sanctions in 21 or 22, but I didn't know he's dead. Again, I'm not shocked of any of this information coming out. Originally, I was responding to Aaron saying the first week of Trump shocked me. From there, I very quickly adjusted and realized Trump 2.0 is a politician. He's no longer a businessman who cares for America. Unfortunately, he has turned into a politician. The rest of his administration are all politicians. And I think Monday on my show, I mentioned to everybody that I pray that President Trump will come to realize that every action he's taking and his administration is taking, internally or internationally, is one step closer to having American citizens' blood on their hands.
All right.
And it looks like we're going to continue doing it.
I know you got a hard out. liveuptofreedom.substack.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Annie, as always, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Brian, and stay safe, Aaron.
Thanks, Annie. God bless.
And she has a brand new Substack coming out tomorrow, folks, on how Islam has taken over about 18 American cities and is growing. Liveuptofreedom.substack.com. All right, we come back. Let's change the mood, change the tone a little bit, because I can only take so much of this. How about you guys? Let's talk a little Bible history, world history. Let's talk about Aaron, who just went to a 2,000-year-old Roman amphitheater. He just did his first segment for us, brought to you by our foundation. We're saying, hey, Aaron, we'll give you an honorarium if you go do some of these things for us to share with our audience. So if you appreciate this, we need your support so we can continue giving honorariums to Aaron to produce not only the great reporting we get from him, but what you're about to see when we come back. WorldviewFoundation.com, WorldviewFoundation.com. We'll be right back.
True beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisaw collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.
Looking for a trusted source to understand today's world through a Christian worldview? Worldview Tube is built on the 35 years of Worldview books, columns, research, and high-profile interviews of Brannon House. Want to know more about Worldview Tube, its founder, history, team, and mission? Visit worldviewtube.com/about. That's worldviewtube.com/about. Worldview Tube is your source for understanding the times through the lens of a Christian worldview.